What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dark Souls 3 review, brought to you by KeenGamer.com, the best place to look at all your articles, games, everything you can need gaming-wise. Now, let's get on to the review. Let's start with the story. Now, the player assumes the role of the Ashen One, from which has to stop the ongoing conflict with Light and Dark, and it's his or her job to destroy the Lords of Cinder. Now, the Ashen One will have to face tough enemies and brutal bosses to achieve such a task to restore the Order. Now, Dark Souls 3 is just like the other Souls game. You'll start out with choosing a class, which you'll have 10 to choose from, and you can also not always have to be that exact class. Like if you chose Knight, you can end up being a Mage Knight. You know, you're not bound to stay as a Knight. And in Dark Souls 3, you're going to be traversing through various areas in the game. You know, there'll be night sky, swamps, burial grounds, poison areas. There's just so much variety in what you're about to see and experience that there's just so much to take in. Now, in Dark Souls 3, they've added a new mechanic, which is a secondary special attack, if you will. It's when you hold down, well, if you're using an Xbox or PS4, you'll be holding down the left trigger when you're in two-handed mode, and press RB or right trigger to do a special soft attack or hard attack. And that completely has changed the game because these attacks are strong and can make defense and kill enemies a lot faster because they're a lot stronger. That's just one of the new things that's added into the game. And one of the other new things they've added is a mana flask. Now, this is new because we've always had our typical Estus Flasks to get our HP up. Now we have a mana flask, which when you use your secondary attack uses mana. So if you're a mage build and you'd like to use a secondary attack, you're gonna have to use the mana. So now you have a mana flask. So that's nice. So you don't have to use items like in previous titles. Another new thing added, well, I don't know if this is considered new, but like there's these AI in the game that act human, like as if you're fighting a real player. Now when you learn their attacks, then it's not like they're actual real players, but they're extremely aggressive. They'll look someone just like you, and they won't be real people, they'll just be really smart AI. And these AI will just deliberately try to destroy you. You'll find them in random parts of the game, just walking around, and they'll just be walking, and as soon as you approach them, they're just gonna have it at you, and they will not stop. And they're pretty smart. Like, oh man, it gives me a heart attack whenever I see one of them, because I'm like, it's gonna be one of those days. But this was a lot of fun because it made the game pretty special, because it's just like fighting real people when invading players would come into your world, but without the invading part. And also there will be some enemies in the game that have these red eyes, and these enemies you do not want to mess with. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to fight them no matter what, but they're extremely, and I'm not kidding, extremely aggressive, and will kill you at any moment that they have. They will just non-stop attack you and do this auto grab that will just get your health down so badly, it sucks. So these, I like fighting them, but they're terrifying. Whenever I see one, I just want to run away. But you gotta fight them, and it puts up a challenge, and I definitely really, really like that. You'll be fighting some bosses in the game because it is a Dark Souls game. Now, the bosses in this game, they're very well made. Like, they look extremely terrifying. I would not want to mess with any of these bosses. But these bosses are very fun to fight. But unfortunately, they're not very challenging. Like, I didn't see myself being extremely, like, having to think of any strategy or be on my toes when fighting. I just, I would kill them or I would die. They were still hard to fight, but I just don't think they were at the par in which they could have been compared to previous titles. But they're still a lot of fun, and it was still really hard to fight them, so I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, throughout the entire game you need to explore also as well. Exploring is a big part of Dark Souls 3. There's so many areas that are like guarded by people that when you kill them, then you can go there and you can take items from them and then find them in like small spaces that you wouldn't think. But yeah, this is the basis of the game. One part I didn't really like is the invasion. Now, invasion is great. Someone comes into your world unexpectedly and ruins your life and doesn't take your souls, but you lose all of them if you die, which is so annoying when you work so hard. But there was this annoying bug or glitch that whenever I would fight one of them, their player model would just stand still, as in like it wouldn't move, or you wouldn't see them slashing or rolling. They just would stand still, and it was annoying. It's like the player model literally would stand still, and this totally takes immersion out of the game. Like I felt like, like this. What, are you kidding me? Like I've never seen this before, and it just was really lame. And it happened more than once. And even when I would summon people to come into my world to help me out, they would stand still. Like this didn't happen all the time, but it happened more than once, and that's something that was concerning to me. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous in this game. There's just so much to look at, and there's so much variety that it's just so much fun to go into an area and just look around just for the sake of exploring. I found myself just kind of standing still and looking and appreciating the moment, because it takes a lot for a developer to really detail everything in their game and not just have it look like some basic design. Every little thing in this game is detailed, including the character animation, the models, the bosses especially have some really good detailing and exquisite kind of looks. And I'm really appreciative of the fact that the game was also at a good solid 50 to 60 FPS. My computer's not as powerful, so I was able to run at 50 to 60, but the game can handle 60, even with a lot going on, which was fantastic. And even though my computer is not super powerful, I was still able to run the game, so that was really great. In conclusion, Dark Souls 3 is a fantastic role-playing adventure. There's just so much to do in the game. You're gonna spend hours on it. It was fun fighting enemies and bosses and exploration and getting new weapons and armor. I just found myself having fun the entire time. Nothing got stale. Nothing was really an issue. The game is honestly absolutely perfect. And it was a great entry to the series, whether this be the last game or a setup to the next one. I hope we get more Dark Souls games in the future. I'm looking forward to the 4th one, or something else in the Soul series, but this one definitely is a great game and you should get it right away. Thank you so much for checking out this review. That Persian guy here. Check out KeenGamer.com. Best place for articles, reviews, previews, and everything gaming related. I hope you have a fantastic day.